Hi everybody, it's Amanda here from the Outreach Department of the Marion County Public Library, and I've come to you today to bring you another episode of Book Bites. It's been a while since I've talked to you with this little program I'm doing because I've just been super busy with school starting and my own school online, and it's been really hard for me to find some time to look over some books to give you the suggestions. So I have a little bit more time now, so I'm hoping that I can bring you some more selections a little more often and not have to wait so long. And I have three titles picked out today that I think that you're going to really enjoy. And the first one that I have is called Weather by Jenny Awful. And it's a really neat little book, and it has a really cool little cover. And I'm not going to lie, that's first why I picked it up, because I thought it looked really neat. It ended up being really cool, cool little story. So the second selection I have is called The Plot by this is Jean Korelitz, and this has a little nod at the top from Stephen King, and I noticed that right away. So I thought, wow, it's probably going to be really electric, you know, and it is. It's got a lot of underhandedness and kind of backstabbing, so it has what you need to have a good story. The third title I'm bringing you is You Love Me, and if you are familiar with the hit series on Netflix, you probably know about this book. This is by Caroline Kepnes. She's a new author, and she is amazing. So I definitely think you want to pick this up if you are into that series. I'm hopefully going to start coming to you, like I said, a little more often. It's just been really crazy around here. So today, the first book we have is called Weather, and this is a really different book because you don't expect a book called Weather to really have a lot of complexity going on. It sounds really simple and plain, but it's actually not. The cover is super neat. You can kind of see the different things you've got going on here regarding weather, and then you've got a person's partial face here, and you've got some clouds, and then some arrows that kind of give you the direction on weather patterns. So I wasn't sure what to expect, and then I kind of read through, and this book talks about, it shows like a family and the people that she's around, and it shows them in crisis. And as we're going through the things we're going through right now, I feel like this book kind of mirrors that, the struggles that we're seeing with the drug epidemics and the pandemic and just the things that we've got going on that kind of like, wow, we're really going through it. And this book kind of mirrors some of that because it discusses doomsday and all the kind of preparation and the apocalypse type scenarios. It stars a protagonist named Lizzie who works in a library. I always pick the books where somebody is employed at a library. I don't know why. But she works in a university library where she was once a really promising graduate student, but she has this side gig and she answers letters from a podcast called Hell and High Water. And it is about doomsday, and they talk about the apocalypse and how to prepare. And she works with a former mentor of hers. And at first she really likes it because she's kind of being like this shrink position to people, giving them advice and giving them a little bit of hope in their in these letters she's sending back. But she finds it hard as she's going along to do that. She used to be really great at the kind of the mentoring and the shrink role because she had a brother that was an addict. But as she starts to kind of almost obsessed with the doomsday psychology and everything around it, the preparation, and it's just starting to consume her entire life and the end of the world, and that just all she thinks about. It's really taking over her. And so she's really depressed, and she's got all these people writing in the show who the book describes as crazy or depressed. I'm not huge fan of the terms, but it is in the story, and so she's finding it difficult to even write and give them a little bit of hope because she doesn't see hope in the world herself. So that's coming out in her letters, and she's really, she is a wife and a mother, but she's starting to just falter it. Everything is falling apart in herself as these roles. She's just not able to cope. So it kind of shows her downfall and how she's dealing with that. And I'm hoping, at the end, there's a triumph. I haven't read that far ahead, to see the ending, but I'm hoping there will be a triumph at the end. But this book sounds really good, and I think that if you kind of like something that that maybe deals with the apocalypse and kind of the psychology behind that, or if you're looking for somebody that's kind of going through a struggle similar to what we're seeing now, and somebody that's trying to grapple it all, and even though they're in a downward trajectory, there's something, hopefully that they can find and hold on to, some hope. So I think that this book will appeal to many audiences, and you can put this on hold by calling our CERC desk at 270-692-4698. Again, that's Weather by Jenny Awful. The next book we have is called The Plot, and this book is by Jean Corlitz. She's a New York Times best-selling author. Of course, this is the Insanely Readable by Stephen King. This book sounds really good. It's got a lot of different things in it. It's got that, it's just got that underhandedness, that kind of backstabbing, those things that just really, that you're kind of like on the edge of your seat. What's going to happen next? It's not terribly long, but it is a little bit longer than our last book. I think the reading part is about 316 pages, but you could knock this out pretty quick because it's super interesting. It talks about this protagonist named Jacob Bonner, who actually is teaching at a Master of Fine Arts program. And Jacob is not teaching at the school he wanted to teach at. He kind of, I think, feels he's a little bit too good for that, and it's kind of a sub-rate school. And he was once an author that had a really hit blockbuster book, and now all that's kind of fizzled, and he's not as respected as he used to be. So he's dealing with that lack of, of that respect and that kind of that importance that he used to have. He comes across a student he has named Evan Parker. And Evan is a really arrogant student. He's very sure of himself, and he thinks that he does not need Jacob's help to write this book, that he's working on a plot, and he just thinks that he does not need his teacher's help, and that it's amazing. Well, the teacher hears the plot, and at first he thought, his student's being just overly confident, really sure of himself, and he reads the plot and he is blown away by how good it is. And so, Jake resumes his normal life, his humdrum life, and he's waiting for this book to be published by Evan Parker that's going to be a blockbuster. And, he's kind of feeling like everything's happening without him. And he waits for the book to be published, and it's not. Well, he does some digging and finds out that Evan Parker actually died. So what do you think Jake does? Well, he gets the book, and he's going to publish it himself because he thinks the world needs to hear this story. Problem is, he does not tell anyone that he did not write it. So while all the things that Evan Parker predicted are coming true, the fame and all the stuff surrounding the book and the success, it's Jacob Finch Bonner that is at the helm of that. And one day as he's going along, he's enjoying all this stuff around him, an email comes and it says, "You are a thief." And that's all it says. So now he's got this someone antagonizing him. He doesn't know who it is or why, but he knows someone knows the truth. And he's got to keep it from all the people that, all his fans and all the people in his life. But as he starts digging, he becomes terrified because he wants to know who Evan Parker was and how did he get the idea for the book. And I think things don't turn out quite the way he thought. And he uncovers eventually who the real person is behind the plot of the story, and who stole it from whom. So it sounds like it's going to be a really neat page turner, and I think that if you pick this up, you're probably going to read it really fast because it's one of those that you can't wait to find out what happens. So again, this is The Plot. I think you would really enjoy this. I know a lot of different people that would find this novel appealing. You can put this on hold by calling 270-692-4698 and asking our CERC desk to put it on hold for you. And it's by Jean Corlitz. Don't forget. The third book and last is called You Love Me. And if you are familiar with the Netflix series You, this is who wrote it. This book is by Caroline Kepnes. She is the New York Times best-selling author of the hit series now a Netflix show called You. And so this is You Love Me. This is actually, I believe, the next chapter in the show that's on now. And I don't know what parts people have seen. So, this book might give you kind of a few little nods to the series. So keep that in mind as I talk about it. It doesn't talk about the parts that I've watched, and I think I'm caught up. That's the bad thing about binge watching is you kind of get to a point where you've watched them all, and then you have to wait months for a new episode. So it's kind of I have a love-hate relationship with that. Um, but this book is talking about our famous Joe Goldberg, and it says here that he's done with love, he's done with all of that, and now he's wanting to move on and say hello to nature. And he's found a cozy island in the Pacific Northwest. And for the first time in a long time, he can go out there and just breathe, and he's not worried about everything following him. And he gets a job at a local library. I don't know what it is with the libraries. They're in all the books. But he does know a thing or two about books, it says. And that's where he meets his newfound target is Mary Kay DeMarco, and she is a librarian. And Joe says this time he's not going to meddle, he's not going to obsess, but he's going to win her the old-fashioned way. He's going to give her a shoulder to cry on, and they'll begin their happily ever after, which we know for Joe probably won't last long. The trouble is, it says that Mary Kay has a busy life where she's a mother and a friend, and she doesn't have a lot of time for Joe. And so I think as Joe tries to encourage and support her, he hopes that Mary Kay will make time for him, but it's going to kind of show and play out that struggle of him trying to win her over, and her, of course, being, trying to, still keep her life going and let Joe know maybe she did, really can't do this. And I imagine she'll start falling for Joe. So we're going to have to see how this turns out. But if you are a fan of that series, you need to read this book. It's amazing. The show is crazy good. She's a wonderful author. So all of these books here, if you want to put these on hold, like I said, just call us at the Marion County Public Library at 270-692-4698, and our wonderful CERC staff will be glad to help you. When you answer the phone, when we answer the phone here, you're most likely talking to Tori, Elena, Molly, Jackie, or one of the other employees here. And so if you want to talk to one of them, and just if you forget the title of the book, just refer to this video, and I will actually give them a list of this, and you can put these on hold by just making a phone call. So I hope you enjoyed this today, and I look forward to coming to you soon with some more new books. Thanks, and have a great day.